Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today we are talking about Grubhub settles false advertising lawsuit for $7 million. So on this episode of Platforms Getting Their Just Desserts, we have Grubhub settling out a false advertising lawsuit for $7 million. That's insane if you think about it. Restaurants have been experiencing a lot of false advertising issue with Grubhub and DoorDash and Uber Eats, mainly Grubhub and DoorDash, not really Uber Eats. They're more focused on a super app version of business. That said, Grubhub is finally settled out for the better, in my opinion. So with that said, we are talking about everything that is being said in this article, how it actually is for DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub restaurants and drivers, and everything in between. So with that said, let's get started. In Q4 2019, Grubhub added 150,000 non-partner restaurants to help grow its network to 300,000 restaurants as its position as leader in US restaurant delivery market share began to slip. That practice led to significant backlash and lawsuits, especially at restaurants that lacked the capacity to handle delivery orders or were receiving orders for incorrect menu items. DoorDash and Postmates also received criticism for similar practices. All of these aggregators say they no longer partake in this business practice. Oh my god, I was just talking about this the other day. Like, once again, I am building out my own delivery service provider, and one of the restaurants that we're talking to ended up having this specific situation. I wonder if they're gonna get a payout for that. That is so interesting. But back on point, Grubhub, yeah, this is something that Grubhub did. DoorDash did it initially, and Postmates also did it. Postmates also got eaten up by Uber Eats and Uber, but that's not the point. The point is, that's kind of just how they operated things, especially since they used menus that they no longer have an effect. I remember talking to so many restaurants on this subject. An Indian place that is no longer in business, a cafe that had seasonal items that wasn't on their menu anymore, stuck on whatever website or Yelp even for Grubhub, that is no longer on their menu, along with other shitty business practices that we literally saw happen in person. And who gets the brunt of it, right? The idiot driver. And I remember picking up for Grubhub at times, and they literally had in their description, don't mention that you're from Grubhub. Like, why are we putting drivers in that position? Nevertheless, it was a shitty practice, and I'm glad that they got caught in it. In the 2020 case, restaurant alleges that being added to Grubhub's platform without their permission led to consumer confusion, a loss of sales, and operational challenges that harmed their reputation, per the settlement document. Yeah, that's a huge issue too, because let's say you cannot accept Grubhub deliveries or DoorDash deliveries, or you just keep sending them out. Now people are going to interpret that restaurant doesn't fulfill their orders, even though they were put into that position, not that they wanted to be in that position or even had the capacity to fulfill what that position really demanded. While the practices alleged in this case have not been part of our business model for some time, we're pleased to settle this case so we can move forward and continue providing excellent value to the over 415,000 merchants who chose to partner with us every day, a Grubhub spokesperson said in an emailed statement. Grubhub discontinued the practice last year after hearing the feedback and made it easier for restaurants to request removal from its platform when it decided to discontinue the practice, with only a small percentage of the 300,000 merchants on its platform were non-partner. Here's the thing, right? You have Grubhub, who has been bought and sold multiple times in the past couple of years, and the people actively involved in that lawsuit now had to take the brunt of the settlement. I wonder how much the founder ended up taking responsibility for. I doubt any, because they sold the company for $3 billion, and in less than a year it was sold again for $650 million. But I also wonder if that was the point, like to bring down the value of Grubhub so much to where now, because it was brought down that much, because of the lawsuits it was going through, that's why it was brought down, to reduce the value of the settlement. I don't know if that's actually true. I feel like Grubhub could be doing more in general, but at the same time, they're still one of the most transparent apps among the big three. I know that doesn't say a whole lot, but it is a reality. And if I were to be honest, their system is actually something I've come to respect. I'm not a big fan of the whole high pay banner that they just implemented, but nevertheless. The settlement class members can submit claims from November 3rd, 2025 through March 4th, 2026, and will receive an initial payment of $50 and a prorated amount depending on the amount of time they were listed on Grubhub. I wonder if I should tell my potential partner that or not. I feel like that would be something she would find valuable. Third-party delivery aggregators have placed several lawsuits in recent months. DoorDash agreed to over $16 million in a settlement in New York in February, then $11.3 million settlement in Illinois in November, both regarding now to the defunct tipping practices. Earlier this week, Uber Eats settled a case in Seattle for $15 million, alleging that it misled drivers over potential earnings. Yeah, you see, note the significant differences in the amount of money that they are getting out of these companies. DoorDash being the biggest, losing a total of $27.3 million in settlement. Uber Eats, $15 million. And again, these are both mega companies, whereas Grubhub, being the smallest of the big three, only losing $7 million. I'm not saying it's right for these companies to have dealt with what they dealt with, but still, this is my opinion. It's worth what you pay for it. None of you pay me. There you go. I am sure that with Wonder buying out Grubhub, things are going to change for the platform itself. It's unfortunate, or maybe a little bit fortunate, but unfortunate also, that they ended up buying Grubhub at such a low rate. Just Eat bought Grubhub at $3 billion. The founder walked away with that money. Then, after holding it for about a year, the value of the company dropped exponentially, just dropped heavily, and then sold it for $650 million to Wonder. Wonder now just settled the lawsuit and lost $7 million because of that. Is that by design, or is that because of the full situation? I think that is yet to be determined. Then again, they also did just settle for $25 million with the FTC last December, but that was before they sold the company, so I don't know. All in all, I hope that this is a beginning of a new chapter for Grubhub, to where they're going to start doing things by the book, but let's be honest, this is the gig economy. That's not normal anymore. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you guys would also like to learn more about the ins and outs of the gig economy as a whole, make sure to check out my website, drivenwyld.com. Also, if you guys want to stay in the know of all of the things that people are talking about in the gig economy today, make sure you check out the Gone Wild live clips and podcast, where we take the live streams that we hold on Thursdays at 9 and cut them down to more digestible clips and have them posted there. And if you want to see exclusive clips and full-length live stream replays along with other general perks, make sure to check out my Patreon, where we have all of that and more posted there. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe